Okay, so basically, it's the same day. I just want to play a little bit more before, probably about a half hour before I go run an errand. So let's, but what I did want to do, because I did get that memory slot from this tower, let me actually look at my setup. Um, Part of me kind of just wants to put Cure Poison on, but the other part of me, oh no, I wasn't about that one. That one incinerates area. Well, how much do you use? You cost one, and you cost 28. I don't know. So I'm assuming this is a much smaller. Right. Let me try it. I can just try it right now and see. Oh, I see. So like right in front of me. I see. Still more of a. I think what I like about that one is that one still seems like it's more melee range, but like I wouldn't have to be as close as with Catch Flame. Let me see. My poison mist. I do like my poison mist. I do also like the lightning. I like lots of things, right? And then I'm always complaining and wishing I had cure poison on, huh? Let me do that. And maybe my poison. Well, I do want my lightning. Cause there might be like crowds, and I might look up and strike more than one. Let's try that. Was there anything? Let me see if I want to do my flask differently. Uh, so yeah, I think let me put on my bubble for a bit, maybe. I don't know. I may go back to the stamina one. I'm not sure. The other thing I wanted to see, I think I'm feeling okay like with my armor and weapon for now. Yeah, let's just go and see how we feel, right? All right, let's see. Yeah, there's the Erdtree avatar for sure. All right. Yeah, I think I just sort of gave up on the cracklet. I think if I were oh, didn't see you there. If I were a little better at this type of thing, I would be able to sort it out. I don't know what it is. And honestly, like I keep saying, the thing is that I mean, to be real, if I were playing in handheld, I would probably have already finished this game. To be honest with you, because I would just sort of like play it uh, way more often. Okay, so here we are with post commentary me because I did have recording issues again. It cut out, and for whatever reason, it didn't capture the live commentary. I I don't know if I just forgot to unmute the mic when I got back into it or what happened, but it's over now. No point me trying to remember like 2 days ago. So we're gonna give the Erdtree avatar a try, and let me try to see what past me was thinking about. I went with Ingvo as usual, so I start off with my Black Flame, which I don't think the Black Flame was horrible. Yeah, Black Flame is doing pretty decent damage. And he is also doing pretty awesome damage to me. So it might help if I actually dodged while I was hurling my cheap spells at the Erdtree avatar. I'm gonna give it another go. I guess I was probably debating there if I wanted to change something up at the site of Grace, but I'm normally too lazy and I just go with the Stake America. So much so that I become annoyed when thematically, like, there's no Stake of America for me to use. And I understand, regarding the lore and everything, but still, it's like you get me used to a crutch and I want the crutch all the time. So I said... Now, I can't remember if I actually put on my Wondrous Physic last time or if I forgot. Maybe I just got hit in my bubble like really quick and didn't notice it. Okay, I went with Black Flame again because I was liking the damage. What I like about the bubble, what the bubble helps me with, is telling how I'm doing with dodging better. You know what I mean? Because sometimes I'm not 100% sure if I've gotten hit or not, but the bubble really lets me know. Oh. Dodge. Oh man, the range on that Erdtree avatar weapon, fortunately, focused on Ingval. How did I forget to kill that guy? Oh my goodness. Oh goodness, yeah. Somehow I seem to be managing to get through it, so yeah. Yeah, it wasn't pretty, but got through it. Cerulean Crystal Tear. Ruptured Crystal Tear. I don't think I ever figured out what the Ruptured Crystal Tear does. I'll have to try to figure out how to use that. And by figured out, I mean in the last file I played, I don't think I ever, mixed it in the Flask of Wondrous Physic to try it out. So let's see what I have going on now. Okay. Yeah, those aren't too hard to fight. I guess they're like Erdtree Guardians or something. I'm sure they have a name that I'm too lazy to go on the wiki and evaluate at this point. Yeah, and I think the issue too is normally I think I test out my sound before I start recording, but I think because I was, just playing for like half an hour to go run an errand, that I probably didn't follow my usual steps. I am mildly surprised that I didn't try to pick those enemies off first. Because normally I do, because sometimes they'll, jump in the fight like one did earlier, but apparently I was not thinking that clearly. And here I go failing to. I feel like roll it over the skull is both easier and harder somehow. Or it's harder for me. I don't know how I don't aim. I wish they would just have let you target the skulls. Now, it's super easy to get them on Torrent, obviously, because Torrent just walks over it, but I always miss aim my roll when I'm trying to roll over the skull. And even when I have like a overhead weapon or something, I'll manage to miss the skull because I can't target. So I'm going to the round table for something. What am I going here for? Oh, I guess I was making sure I'd purchased everything from him. And I guess I'm checking with Roger. I don't think I had purchased everything from Roger though. And then I'm sure I come to the conclusion, well, you haven't purchased it, but you're probably not going to use it anyway. But I probably end up purchasing it anyway just to not like waste the runes, Because I don't feel good when I lose runes. I haven't come to a place of peace with that, even though I've played a fair amount of this before and now, right? I think I'm like maybe 50 hours in now or so. And obviously I've also played Dark Souls Remastered, and I have not reached whatever that healthy state is where where the souls and the runes no longer matter. I don't think that's gonna be a thing for me. I don't know how many years it would take, let's put it like that. Because I think I played Dark Souls I think it was 2022 when I played Dark Souls Remastered. So, but that was my first one, my first From Software game. And yeah, so we're 2 years in, I've played Dark Souls Remastered, again, and still not in that place of peace. So here, I think it was the same sort of thing as the spells. I don't really use the Ashes of War, even though I totally should. But I don't. But I'm like, I might as well buy it, right? Instead of losing the runes, I'd rather have something to show for it, even if I don't use it. And I mean, if I lost my mind and like did New Game Plus or something, I could always respec and I might want to use them then, you know what I'm saying? I think also, I can't remember, because I know like in Dark Souls Remastered, a lot of times you'd have to buy all of somebody's spells or, whatever they were selling in order to advance their quest. I don't know if that's true for the NPCs in Elden Ring, right? So I don't know if, like this guy, because I think he has additional story or he attacks me at some point or something like that. And I don't know if part of getting to that is buying all of the stuff he sells or not. Right, but like, I'm a completionist at heart, even though I don't ever complete the games. But I have tendencies, so I'll end up collecting a lot, even though I never like 100% anything. Uh, and like the reason, I have Steam achievements turned on and everything is just that I didn't clear them out before I started playing again, so. So a lot of them I had already gotten, right? And here I go stacking up on arrows because, I love, I adore arrows. I heart arrows. Yeah, I feel like I'm like some weird mix of like a mediocre prophet and archer, but not, not decent at anyone. So now we're at roads and catacombs. And I'm all in for the catacombs mainly because I'm all in for the spirit ashes, right? So this is how I level up my spirit ashes. I also really like the catacombs because they really remind me of the Legend of Zelda dungeons from back in the day. And I just adore Legend of Zelda was one of the first games that I had for NES, eons ago when I was a child. And obviously first I had Duck Hunt and Mario that came with it. I mean I also did the clay shooter. And I tried to shoot the dog in Duck Hunt like everybody does, but my parents later on, because back then I had Castlevania as well. Loved Castlevania, so they got me Castlevania, and I had Mario and Duck Hunt that came with the game. And then like in Woolworth, because back in the day you had Woolworth, and like I live in an urban area. I don't know how it was in other places, but they would lock up the video games behind like the register, customer service counter, what have you. And the Legend of Zelda stood out because it was in that gold box and everything. So yeah, so that's what the catacombs remind me of. And so while I do find them repetitive, I have so much trouble fighting this cat with the long staff, and I don't know why, because I should be used to it by now. I think I'm misjudging the range on it because the other ones have that shorter forked hatchet type thing. But yeah, so obviously that one stood out, gleaming in the gold box from behind the counter. And, they got it for me for like a birthday or Christmas, like when you would get the video games. And I loved the Legend of Zelda, that first one. I was trash at it, because I was a child, but I loved it. It had that paper map and everything. And even to this day, when I play the first Legend of Zelda, I will print out the paper map from online because Child Me did not realize that she needed to keep all of her precious instruction booklets and paper maps. You know what I'm saying? Because for some reason, I guess it's because how I first, how I first played it. I have got to play the Legend of Zelda with a paper map, and like I get my pencil out and mark on it. I love it. I'm getting excited just thinking about it. I must need to replay the original Legend of Zelda. Love that game so much. So at any rate, the catacombs are totally repetitive to me, and I feel like they probably had too many of these too, especially because one, if you aren't into the spirit ashes like me, then what do you care about like grave, glove ward, and all of that stuff? But two, you never quite know what like ash of war you're gonna get as a reward, right? Are you gonna be into it? Is it relevant to you? Like, is your reward gonna be okay? And so finally I managed to find a secret door, but I think it was only because this one it seemed super obvious there must be a secret door, just because of how early they gave you the switch. Because normally, you're like on the quest to find the switch or whatever. So yeah, I think I just have more patience for the catacombs because they remind me of Zelda dungeons, and because I'm also into collecting things for my spirit ashes. But outside of that, the repetition, I just have more tolerance for this repetition because it reminds me of Zelda dungeons. But I could have gone for fewer catacombs as well, only because they do get, you get sort of in a rote type of situation where it's like, okay, I couldn't find it. I'm probably supposed to jump down below some lift, or maybe there's a hidden door. You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. Spikes on the ceiling, your standard stuff. I love how I always manage to get a backstab when I no longer need the backstab. You know what I'm saying? And so then I got so excited. I'm like, oh, well, I found one door. I might as well just roll into all of the doors just in case. And so I do like that you have more than one shot to find this hall. I guess I'm expecting another enemy. I should really, but I feel like I need to save my rune arcs for like harder bosses later when I need like an extra boost. Because even though Even though like I'll have to try the bosses more than once and stuff, I don't feel like any so far have been more than I could, handle after, some tries. I mean, especially because I'm using the spirit ashes and stuff, so yeah. Talk about paranoia. Because I was just totally expecting there to be something else. But then I say, oh, this is probably a door too. Yes. Yes, you are. And again, I think this was more Dark Souls remastered than anything else because I totally missed the invisible door to Ash Lake. Wow, that was quick. Which is probably all for the best given I'm trying to record post commentary, which is painful for us all. You and me both. You and me both. Mostly because, real talk. I can't remember. Generally, I can't remember like what I did a few hours before. Uh, you know, I'll probably like later on today. This will all probably seem like some type of weird fever dream. So, all right. So I'm prepping up, totally not remembering. Past me, totally not remembering what this is. That bubble amuses me. And then I say, oh, spirit call a snail. And only because, right, I've already played this, I've watched people play, I know how this goes. I'm just letting Ingval distract, and I'm poking at the snail with my spear. Not realizing, for some reason, could you at least two-hand the spear? No, apparently not. Apparently I'm not going to put that together. I am shielding. Why am I leaving my shield on, right? Okay, so apparently the light isn't there. So now I'm just struggling to find the light for the snail. Because obviously every time you defeat the Crucible Knight, like the snail illuminates, but you can also just go to the snail and beat it. So now Ingvar is gone. So now I need to try to actually evade the Crucible Knight and also hit the snail. Again, I have a bubble and everything. Like, why am I not at least two-handing the spear? Well, now I don't have a bubble. That weapon does look cool that the Crucible Knights have. Or I don't know if they all have the same one. And I tell you, I can't get mad at the... I mean, I would summon a Crucible Knight too if I had one, so fair play to the snail. And I think that's part of my thing with summoning too. Like, obviously, I'm not, trying to really go hard and like necessarily learn the move sets if I have to. Although I think here it is clear, like even though I'm doing poorly, didn't think about two-handing the spear or anything like that. It's not like you really need you can still just avoid the Crucible Knight even without the distraction. Is this the best way, running around in a circle? I don't know. Clearly not here because, yeah. So let's try this again and try to do more damage to the snail more quickly, right? Spirit call the snail. So I'm just gonna be quiet over the next fight, I think. I don't even know what I do with root resin, but I'm collecting it because that's how I rock. I have issues that I'm not working on with collecting items and games, right? Okay, so here I say maybe I need more than one distraction, right? So I would say let me do the demi-human ashes because maybe what I needed was like a divide and conquer thing as opposed to my BFF for life Ingval, who I'm trying not to creep out too much with how much I like him. Let's see. Yeah, and I'm failing miserably, obviously. All right. They said I'll be quiet on this one, but I can't remember. I don't know if this was the one. Okay, as I suspected, this was not the one, and the demi-human ashes, didn't really do me more good, right? So Engel sort of held out longer. I asked the demi-human ashes to do too much here. So, but I did feel like the Dragon Claw was going well, right? So here I am switching back to Engel. I think I briefly considered Latetta, but I'm like, I don't know if Latetta is, because I do get the impression, and I do need to try Latetta, that she just stays put. Okay, Flask of Wondrous Physic. We're gonna go with Dragon Claw. Get Engvil out, and let's do better. Get my souls and just chase down this snail. Much better damage. I don't think I don't think I could get 2 Dragon Claws in because it takes a while to wind up. That was really good damage. And just in time. Okay, so yeah, much easier if you do significant damage instead of chipping away at it with your spear in one hand. Oh, goodness. All right, so, in spite of myself and in spite of rushing to try to do my errand, at half an hour, I did manage to defeat 2 bosses. I mean, in as much as the snail is a boss, right? So at this point, I think what I decide is it's time for me to go pick stuff up. I could just gather the rest of the stuff in the catacombs later. So that's where we'll end it. Hopefully, this is a shorter one, but I think that's okay too, right? So I think I'm trying to level up my spirit ashes here. See if I have enough to level up anything.
Greetings. Are you here for spirit?
And I can, it's hard for me to really justify these, but I can't help myself. Because again, I'd just rather use the runes than not. So yeah, that's what I'm doing here. I really do need to try her out. I think I'm just going to have to force myself to. Because if I died, like, so what, right? I'm probably going to die the first time I do stuff anyway. So yeah, thank you for hanging out. If you if you made it, if you made it this far. I wasn't sure if I was gonna make it this far. All right, bye bye.